Welcome to Jack Talk. I'm Daniel Morales.
And I'm Megan Riley, and we have an exciting show for you today.
On this episode, we're going to take a look at the Ralph W. Steen Library here on SFA's campus and the Emerging Technologies Lab that offers virtual reality to students.
And from there, we will take a look at the oldest house here in the oldest town in Texas. Then we will zip on down and get an inside look at ZipNac, Nacogdoches' very own zipline experience. Stay tuned because the excitement starts now. You made it.
3D printer and VR technology are some of the latest advancements making their mark on society. Here at SFA, the Emerging Technologies Lab gives students access to these technologies. Joining me in the studio to talk about this is Quinn Jarvis. Quinn, thank you for joining me.
Hello, nice to be here.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
So, tell us a little bit about what the Emerging Technologies Lab is.
Okay, so we have two different sets, and we have a stand-up station called the HTC Vive, and we have ones where you can sit down, which is called the Oculus. And so virtual reality, which most people know, is when you put on the headset, and it allows you to experience a virtual world.
Oh, okay, that's really cool. And you said you had Oculus sit-down stations as well?
Right. Most people, we used to have gaming chairs where people could sit down, but more people are starting to stand up since we switched them out. But you get two different experiences, one where you can sit down and the other one where you can stand.
Okay, and you do have 3D printers as well? Is what I read?
Yes, we do. So we have two stations right now. We're working on setting up a third one, and we usually have people print around 3 hours, no more than 3 hours, but yes, we do have those.
And is that usually how long it takes to print off from 3D printing?
No, you can print up to 24 hours if you would like, but just for SFA policy, 3 hours is the max we'd allow students.
Okay, and so, so when it comes to printing off these 3D models, if it's still printing and a student has class, then what do they do?
So yeah, usually we have people sign in and they will come in and print, and so after that, we'd hold the print for them. So if they want to come and print, then it's going to take like 2 hours. Then they can go to class, go eat, or do whatever, and then come back, and their print will be ready.
Okay, so they can come back.
Right.
And do you have things that, like designs that students can print, or can they bring in their own designs? Is it a combination of both?
Yeah, so there's a combination of both. We recommend students use a website called thingiverse.com, and there's also other websites where students can create their own designs and they can print whatever it is that they've designed. And we also have programs on the virtual reality that allow students to do that.
Okay, and you said you could design your own ones through the virtual reality. I think that's really cool.
Yes.
What are some of the interesting designs you have seen?
Oh, well, myself, for instance, I've 3D printed a cell phone holder because sometimes I just like to have, I like to do my work while I'm at work, and then I'll have my cell phone laying there. We have prints here. This is a pencil case holder right here, and you can see Bender from Futurama.
Yeah.
So there's different designs that you can do, but
cool.
This is really interesting to me because, like I said, it's a pencil case holder. So instead of going to Walmart and paying for it, you could just come to SFA and print for free.
Yeah, and did you design this yourself? Or?
I didn't design that. That was already on thingiverse.com.
Oh, okay.
But
That's really cool.
they have that. Another interesting thing, a lot of people, I know if you're like me, I'm pretty cheap, so I like to 3D print a lot of stuff. So a cell phone case, for an example, can be 3D printed.
Cool. Yeah, I think there are a lot of people who would want to print off their own 3D cases because, it's better than just going out, like you said, instead of going to Walmart paying money, you can just print it here for free.
Exactly. So those are some of the more interesting things I've seen.
Okay, and what's this one right here?
This here is a sculpture. So a lot of times we'd have people who are like interested in sculpting and stuff like that. They'll come and print little figurines, or they'll print statues or something with the base, so that way if they need it for class or if they just want it for their own personal use, then they have access to it right here at Stephen F. Austin.
Okay, and is this like a particular famous sculpture?
I'm not sure. I think so, but I can't tell. I can't really make it out.
It kind of looks like Julius Caesar to me.
I think that's what it is. He's just missing the arms.
Yeah, and yeah, and you said it can be anything for free or anything for fun. Like I printed this one when I went to go visit the Emerging Technologies Lab. I printed off this Dratini, which is one of the original 151 Pokemon, as you can see. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
Right, and we also have different colors, as you can see. We have gray here, we have clear, we have purple, we have green, red, gold. We have a lot of different varieties.
That's pretty cool. And what material are these made out of?
That's called, the filament used is called engine. So we used to use two, ABS and engine, but now we just reverted to engine.
Okay. And these virtual reality labs, so you said there's 2 rooms.
Right.
How many people can use these rooms?
So we have a total of 6 stations, and the first 2 are the HTC Vives, which are the rooms where people are standing, and then the other 4 are the Oculus, and that's where people usually sit down. So in total, we have 6.
Okay, so 6 total rooms, and do you need to reserve one of these in order to use them? Or?
No, it's completely walk-in. So we do give people like a limit, like if we have more than 6 people there at a time, then we usually give people about 10 minutes to use the virtual reality, but if nobody's there, then they can use it as long as they would like.
Okay, and how have professors utilized this virtual reality technology?
So usually we have professors that will come in with class, and they will bring their classes, and one department we've had is the science department. So we have an app on there called The Body, and it allows you to explore the body. You can see the cells, and it's just really amazing.
That's really cool.
And it's like it puts you in this little pod, and then you get to like drift, and it tells you what each organism is, or it tells you exactly what it is and what it does. And so you get to like travel through the body, and you get to see it. So I've seen professors use that in that aspect.
That's really cool. And I heard that one professor used Google Maps as well.
Yes, that's really popular, Google Maps. So you get to travel across the world. You get to go to famous places that you see. So it's really great.
And where can people go for more information on this?
You can go to sfasu.edu/VR, or you can come simply to the library and get more information about it.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Quinn, for coming in and telling us all about this amazing lab. It's been an amazing experience, and I'll probably drop by more.
Thank you.
Check out their website at library.sfasu.edu/VR to find out more. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Megan will take you on an inside look at the oldest house right here in Nacogdoches. We'll be right back.
History runs through the streets of Nacogdoches, and joining me in the studio is Justin Oakley, the museum assistant at the oldest house here in Texas, the Sterne Hoya Museum House and Library. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm really excited to learn more about the house. So tell me, you're the museum assistant. What exactly does that all entail?
Well, it entails giving guided tours to visitors, general care for the building, things like that, and sometimes on our off time we also engage in research for the city.
Oh, so. Nice. So do y'all do research for just like the different historical places, or is it just Nacogdoches?
That's a part of it. A lot of it's surrounding the local history of the area,
Gotcha.
East Texas and Nacogdoches.
Gotcha. So what would you say your main role is a part of the house?
Well, I'm one of 3 museum assistants that work for the city. This is all a part of the Historic Sites Department of the City of Nacogdoches. We run 4 historic sites, including the Sterne Hoya House Museum and Library. We also operate the Durst-Taylor Museum, the Railroad Depot, and the Zion Hill Baptist Church. So.
Cool. So it's pretty crazy. This is the oldest house here in the oldest town in Texas. So when exactly was it built?
Well, it's the oldest house that's still standing. It was built around 1830 or so, and it's one of only 2 houses built during that time period that survived, the other being the Durst-Taylor house.
That's so cool. I love how Nacogdoches is so like historical, and
Yeah.
I've checked it out, and I'm excited about it. So who exactly built the house?
Well, the house was built by a man named Adolphus Sterne. He was a German Jewish immigrant to Nacogdoches who came here in the mid-1820s. He was pretty involved in the Texas Revolution. He was one of the financiers of the effort. He was responsible for raising money and equipment for the troops. He also helped recruit soldiers as well. He was responsible with bringing the New Orleans Greys to Texas to fight in the Texas Revolution. Two of those companies served. One was at the Alamo and the other was at Goliad. The company that served at the Alamo actually came to Nacogdoches before they marched down to San Antonio and camped on the property where the house now sits.
Did he ever live in the house himself?
He did, yes. His family lived there for around 30 years or so.
Okay, so the name, Sterne Hoya, so is Sterne, is that the same family or are they two different families?
They are two different families. Both of the families knew each other. The von der Hoya family also came from Germany, from Prussia. They were from an old noble family, so they had that von der in front of their name to denote their title. They purchased the house from Sterne's widow in 1869, and they lived there for, well, from 1869 to 1958.
And then they
So-
sold it to Nacogdoches as a library?
Well, they didn't sell it to the city. They did deed it over to the city in 1958 to open up as a branch of the public library and also a museum. And it actually served as one of the branches of the public library here for over 20 years.
So since the Sterne family was technically the first to live there, why is it named Sterne Hoya instead of just the Sterne Museum?
Well, it's got the unique status of only ever having two families live in it in almost 190 years. So it's just to represent both of the families that live there, the Sternes and the Hoya family.
So what's the overall importance of the house for the city of Nacogdoches and community?
Well, apart from being the oldest surviving house in the city, it's just a focal point for Texas history. It kind of highlights the importance of the city of Nacogdoches during that time, during the period of the Revolution, and then later on, after the Republic of Texas came into being, it just is filled with history. It really is a local treasure.
And we were talking earlier, and you mentioned that there were some iconic people that stayed there.
Yes.
Who were
yes.
some of those people that got to stay there?
Well, Sam Houston is probably the most well-known iconic person there, apart from Davy Crockett. But Houston actually was very close friends with Adolphus Sterne. He stayed there with the family for about 2 months when he first came to Texas in 1832. And he rented a building owned by Adolphus Sterne to open up his law practice in, not too far away. He was also baptized into the Catholic Church in the parlor in there, which at that time it was a condition for citizenship in Mexican Texas. You weren't considered a citizen unless you were a Roman Catholic. So all of the American settlers that came here during that time period had to become Catholic, at least on paper, to fulfill that obligation. But he was also a frequent guest there later. And Crockett came. He spent about 10 days with the Sterne family when he came to Texas in 1834, just a few years after Houston.
Did he know the Sterne family, or was it just whenever he got here?
Well, the Sternes did know Crockett, and they knew Houston as well. Adolphus Sterne, before he got to Nacogdoches, was operating a kind of a traveling mercantile company out of New Orleans. And on one of his trips up into Tennessee, he met Houston and then later Crockett.
Okay, and so was it Thomas J. Rusk that stayed there as well?
Yes, Thomas Rusk was a frequent guest at the house there. The Sterne family were really well known for throwing a lot of balls and dances and parties. They were very sociable people, and their guest lists list a lot of just very important names like Rusk and Houston and Crockett, guys like that.
So what all is actually inside the house? Like, there's a lot of family heirlooms, right?
There are, especially from the Hoya family. We do have quite a few pieces that belong to that family. We have a few things that belong to the Sternes. One of the more interesting artifacts we have is a Masonic medallion that belonged to Adolphus Sterne. It's the oldest piece in the house.
Wow.
It was actually made in the 1700s, so it predates everything else in there. Sterne was a master mason and helped found the Masonic Lodge here in Nacogdoches back in 1837.
So is there an opportunity for people in the Nacogdoches community to come and see all of these antiques and stuff like that?
Absolutely. We're open from Tuesday, 4 to 10, all the way through Saturday, 4 to 10 usually. Not this week, though, with Easter coming up. But
course, yes.
We're open for walking tours. We give tours to groups as well. We're always happy to take school groups on, too. We get quite a few elementary schools and things like that.
One of the coolest things that I read was that inside the house, that's like one of the earliest wine cellars in Texas.
Yes, as I mentioned, the Stern family were really well known for entertaining and for throwing a lot of balls and dances and that sort of thing. And they made it a point to entertain in as high a style as possible. So they imported wine from their native Germany to New Orleans, and whenever Adolphus Stern would go to New Orleans on business, he would travel with a wagon so he could take back crates of that wine to stock their cellar with.
That is so
But
cool.
yes, it is one of the earliest residential wine cellars in the state. It dates back to 1845.
Nice. So, do y'all offer any tours or anything like that?
We do. We're always open for tours. We do hold some special events there too from time to time. The Azalea Art Day is held there. We have a Christmas thing that we do in December where we'll do a Victorian Christmas thing. We'll have wassail and cookies and all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about some of the ways that they celebrated Christmas during the that particular time period.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for
You're very
joining
welcome.
us today. And to find out more about the Sterne Hoya House, you can check out their website listed below. Coming up next, here on Jack Talk, we will take you on the scenic route and zip on down to ZipNac and find out more. So stay tuned. Here at Jack Talk, we never stop exploring. Earlier this week, we went on an adventure to ZipNac here in Nacogdoches to learn more about ziplining and why people love it so much. Take a look.
The highest thrill in the oldest town in Texas, ZipNac, is only 7 miles from the Stephen F. Austin State University's campus. Opened in 2011, ZipNac has continued to be the travel destination for East Texans to fly high in the sky. The ZipNac experience takes roughly up to 2 hours to complete because the owners of ZipNac wanted to offer a unique East Texas ziplining experience. There are many steps regarding safety, rules, and regulations that riders must follow. The process begins by the tour guides preparing the riders for the adventure. However, all riders must sign a waiver prior to zipping through the piney woods. Once all riders have completed the waiver, they are then sized and measured for the proper riding equipment, such as a harness, a hard hat helmet, and as well thick gloves, which will be used as a brake when riding down the cable. Once riders are geared up and ready for action, they then are taught the rules and regulations of proper ziplining safety. ZipNac focuses on riders having a great experience, but with safety as their top priority. To ensure the safest ride, proper closed-toed shoes must be worn, long hair needs to be secured in a low ponytail, as well as no loose items such as jewelry or cell phones should be brought aboard the ride. Two guides then take the riders to the ground school, which consists of an 85-foot-long double cable with a miniature platform to practice the basics of ziplining. From hand signals to braking, the guides prepare the riders for any possible situations that may arise. This includes lessons on proper hand placements that are required for controlling the rider's speed and how to brake before reaching the next platform. Once they've passed ground school, the zippers are ready to begin their Zipping East Texas experience. ZipNac is a canopy tour, which means that there will be no other way down other than completing the full zipping tour. From there, riders head up 6 flights of stairs to Bravo, The first flight in the course. Bravo is 50 inches in height and 285 foot long. Although Bravo may seem intimidating to riders as it is their first flight of the day, nothing compares to what's to come. After their first flight in the sky, riders then land on the wooden platform, which leads them to an even more intense riding experience, a Dante. A Dante is a 320-foot line that leads through tree openings to the sky bridge. The two guides then loop a rope securely around the trolley and then walk up the wooden bridge to the Allegro platform. From there, you will travel 3 flights of stairs to the top of Finale. Finale has 2 side-by-side lines conductive to racing another zipper down the 900-foot lines to the finish. Once you zip ZipNac, you will want to return with friends and family. You will also want to zip at night, a totally different exhilaration than the daytime. Scare the Air at Halloween, Zipping Wonderland at Christmas, and couples newlywed zip at Valentine's have become a few holiday favorites for East Texans.
I'm Zach. I'm Jeb. I'd say my day normally starts off with me inspecting the course. I go through and make sure all the lays are where they're supposed to be. There's no frays in them, stuff like that. Check all the lines, make sure that everything's adequate and everything's okay. Dig down, check that off. We have a whole checklist actually we have to go through, make sure everything is up and correct. Once we get that, we get all the clients in, we get their tour logs, make sure they have waivers and stuff like that, and then we harness them up, get going. Take a big ground school, take the pictures we need to take. Ziplining's alright, but the people make the job, the excitement going. Every group's different, so you see a lot of different
personalities and whatnot,
Makes it exciting.
It gives us like a different adventure that we don't really have besides this. I mean, what else is there? Like bowling, movie theater. I mean, we're only real adventure.
At the end of your experience, you will have gained knowledge of all things zip. If you initially arrived with the fear of heights, that will all be gone and you will be prepared for your next ziplining experience. ZipNac brings thrills while joining the Nacogdoches community together.
Well, I actually love ziplining. Have you ever been before?
I've never been ziplining. I don't know if I could do it though.
Why?
I'm afraid of heights, if I'm being honest.
Oh, Daniel, it's not that bad. It's actually really fun. Like whenever you first start, it's kind of like intimidating, you know, but after you go down that first zip line, it's actually like an adrenaline rush. I really recommend it.
Well, maybe I will give it a try. Where's the best place you've gone ziplining?
Well, I've been to ZipNac actually before one time, but I went in Alaska, which, okay,
Really?
I'm kind of scared of heights, and I kind of just went over my fear. And it was really scary, though, because it was, like, just over these, like, mountains. And, yeah, I don't know. I've also been ziplining, like, in Honduras, which that was another time. For another time, I'll tell you that story because it was crazy. So you can stay up to date on ZipNac by checking out their social media at ZipNac or on their website at ZipNac.com. That is all the time we have, so stay tuned for next week for more exciting news about all that's going on around the Piney Woods. For SFATV's Jack Talk, I'm Megan Riley.
And I'm Daniel Morales. Don't miss us too much. We'll see you next time.